Text number 35. It's in the prose, it's not in the shloka form, so therefore it's not written there. Athatatra bhavan kim deva dattavat kim deva dattavat iha guna visarga patitah Paratantriyena svakrita kushala kushalam phalam upadadyati ahosvit atmarama upashama shilaha samanjasa darshana udasta itiha vava na vidamaha atha. Therefore, tatra, in that, Bhavan, your lordship, Kim, whether, Deva Dattavat, like an ordinary human being, forced by the fruits of his activities. Iha, in this material world, Guna Visarga Patitaha, fallen in the material body, impelled by the modes of material nature. Paratantriyena, by dependence on the conditions of time, space, by dependence on the conditions of time, space, activity and nature. Svakrita, executed by oneself. Kushala, auspicious. Akushalam, inauspicious. Phalam, results of action. Upadadati, accepts. Ahosvit, or Atmaramaha, completely self-satisfied. Upashama shilaha, self-controlled in nature. Samanjasa darshanaha, not deprived of full spiritual potencies. Udaste, remains neutral as a witness. Iti, thus. Havava, certainly. Na vidamaha, we do not understand. Translation. These are our inquiries. The ordinary conditioned soul is subject to the material laws, and he thus receives the fruits of his actions. Does your lordship, like an ordinary human being, exist within this material world in a body produced by the material modes? Do you enjoy or suffer the good or bad results of action under the influence of time, past work and so forth? Or, on the contrary, are you present here only as a neutral witness who is self-sufficient, free from all material desires and always full of spiritual potency? We certainly cannot understand your actual position. Purport. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that he descends to this material world for two purposes, namely, Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chadushkritam, to relieve the devotees and kill demons or non-devotees. These two kinds of action are the same for the Absolute Truth. When the Lord comes to punish the demons, he bestows his favor upon them. And similarly, when he delivers his devotees and gives them relief, he also bestows his favor. Thus the Lord bestows his favor equally upon the conditioned souls. When a conditioned soul gives relief to the others, he acts piously. And when he gives trouble to the others, he acts impiously. But the Lord is neither pious nor impious. He is always full in his spiritual potency, by which he shows equal mercy to the punishable and the protectable. The Lord is apapa vidham. He is never contaminated by the reactions of so-called sinful activities. When Krishna was present on this earth, he killed many inimical non-devotees. But they all received sarupya. In other words, they returned to their original spiritual bodies. One who does not know the Lord's position says that God is unkind to him but merciful to others. Actually, the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 9:29, Samoham sarvabhuteshu na medveshyos tina priyaha. I am equal to everyone. No one is my enemy and no one is my friend. But he also says, Ye bhajanti tumam bhaktya mai teteshu chapyaham. If one becomes my devotee and fully surrenders unto me, I give him special attention. So these are our inquiries. The ordinary conditioned soul is subject to the material laws and he thus receives the fruits of his actions. Does your Lordship, like an ordinary human being, exist within this material world in a body produced by the material modes? Do you enjoy or suffer the good or bad results of action under the influence of time, past, work, and so forth? Or, on the contrary, are you present here only as a neutral witness who is self-sufficient, free from all material desires, and always full of spiritual potency? We certainly cannot understand your actual position. Amagyanathmirandasya Gyananjanashalayaka Chakshurmitamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitamena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Karamyahan Darati Swaparantikam Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Tirthakara Srivasari Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. So, I was reading through this purport. So listened one class Srila Prabhupada gave, connected with this shloka what he speaks at the end, Samoham sarvabhuteshu na medveshos tina priyaha. And you can see this is the continuation of the prayers of the demigods. And they are admitting they don't know what is the real position of the Lord. They don't understand. We can say that if we read Srila Prabhupada books, we can understand easily what is the position of the Lord. But that's many times on intellectual platform, on the theoretical platform. It's not realized knowledge. So we, in one sense, from the platform of jnana, we understand who is the position, what is the Lord, who is the Supreme Lord and what is his position. But from vijnana level, many times some of us can be confused what is the position of the Supreme Lord. This is also determined by the level where we are. As we know, we have, like demigods here, they are in the category of Sakama Karma Bhaktas. So their desires are mixed. And as we know, we have different categories of devotees explained in Srimad Bhagavatam as Kanishta, Madhyama and Uttamadhikari. And Kanishtadhikari is the one actually who is confused about the position of the Lord, who is confused about the position of the devotees, is confused about the position of people in general. So he does not discriminate properly. He sometimes doesn't know how to behave toward devotees. He doesn't know how to behave toward the people. And I was just lately somehow faced several times that it's becoming fashion in our society that there is given stress on material education and not on spiritual qualities so much as it should be. Like, for example, there was a conference, and devotees, they were making a brochure they make the list of members of the conference, and then they wrote very short, how is it called? The bio? This very short about the life of the devotee. Yeah. And in that, some devotees, because I was witnessing it, they mentioned that they did this and this in devotional life, and they maybe studied Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhava, and then they were doing this and this service, and also their material qualification is like that and like this. And at the end, this brochure came out, and all these spiritual qualities were cut out, and only the material qualification was mentioned there. And many times when we read about some devotee, always on the first place that he achieved this degree and that degree. So that's the symptom of Kanishtadikari. Kanishtadikari, he is confused by material achievements. So you can see, if we will be stressing this so much, that means that generally our understanding of Krishna consciousness is on Kanishta platform. It means the material achievements and material qualifications are more important than the spiritual. Like Kanishtadikari, he can be, it is mentioned that difference between Kanishta and Madhyama is that the Madhyama Adhikari, he is fixed in his faith, in his determination, and he cannot be defeated, he cannot be confused by another party. He can be maybe defeated philosophically, because his scriptural knowledge is maybe not so broad as Uttama Adhikari. It is mentioned that Uttama Adhikari, he cannot be defeated by any opposing party. Madhyama Adhikari sometimes can be defeated. But Kanishta Adhikari, not only that he can be defeated, but he can be also confused by the opposing party. He can be also misguided by that. And that's one of the symptoms, is that we are stressing so much the material education. This and this achievement, this and this school, this and this college, university. But where is the spiritual qualification? Many times this material qualification is stressed so much, but we don't look so much how we are following the rules and regulations given by acharyas, how we are attending the programs in temple, how we are associating with devotees. That's put on second place. So we should not be stressing it, overstressing. Like the boys here, they are studying in Gurukul. That's actually Srila Prabhupada is explaining that, and in the Bhagavad Gita also Krishna explains that in the 9th chapter, Mamhi Partha Vyapashita Yepisyuh Papayonaha Striya Vaishastata Shudraste Pianti Param Gatim. That to achieve the highest goal, what is the qualification? If you want to achieve some material goal, Srila Prabhupada is giving example of the High Court judge. If you want to achieve that position, you have to study the law and you have to be approved by certain authorities, and then you can be put in that position. But to become a devotee of Krishna, you don't need any of these material qualifications. The most important is actually that you follow the instructions given by our acharyas, and then you sincerely try to serve the Lord. And Krishna says that such a devotee, he will never be destroyed. What does it mean, destruction? Destroyed, Srila Prabhupada is qualifying that destroyed means that your spiritual consciousness is destroyed. Not your material position or your body. Because the soul cannot be destroyed. So in this sense, Krishna is not speaking about this sense that the Atma or the body will be destroyed, but your spiritual consciousness will be destroyed. That's what is mentioning. Srila Prabhupada is saying that destroyed means that you will be, I would say, you will be played football. That means you will be kicked. You will be kicked from one place to another. You will be kicked from one body to another. That means actually destroyed. When we achieve whatever we achieve in this material life, whatever material position, this will be destroyed. But if we don't surrender to Krishna, then at the time of the death, we will be kicked like football. Srila Prabhupada is saying, the football game. One life we are kicked in India, then next life we are kicked into China, next life we are kicked into USA, and like that we will be kicked around, but we will not actually achieve the real goal of life, which is not to be destroyed. But Krishna says that my devotee, he will not be destroyed. And he says also this to Arjuna, that Arjuna, he can claim it boldly, because Krishna sometimes he can break his promise. There's this example when Pandavas, they were supposed, actually the Duryodhana challenged Bhishma that you are not fighting sufficiently. And then Bhishma, he said that next day I will actually fight with full strength and I will kill all Pandavas. And he had these 5 arrows prepared for them. And what happened, Krishna, because he is all-knowing, he sent Arjuna at the evening to the military camp of Duryodhana, and because Duryodhana was owing one boon to Arjuna, these arrows were kept with Duryodhana. So Arjuna asked these arrows. So Bhishma, he knew it, he got this knowledge, he got this information that these arrows were given to Arjuna. So he knew that Krishna is behind. But still he promised that he will fight so strong that he will kill Arjuna. So next day, when Bhishma was practically defeating Arjuna, and the chariot was destroyed, Krishna picked up the wheel from the chariot, and he told to Bhishma that you stop fighting Arjuna, otherwise I will kill you. And then Bhishma, he put down his weapons and he said, yeah, I'm ready, you can kill me, my lord. So Krishna, he can sometimes break his vow, so therefore he says to Arjuna that you actually claim that my devotee will be never destroyed. Here in the purport is mentioned that Lord is the same. He is the same to everybody. When we are doing some favor, it is mentioned that when conditional soul gives relief, he is acting piously, and when he gives distress, he is acting impiously. But when the Lord does this, he is same beneficial. There's the difference between the conditional soul and the liberated soul, and the Lord. I was thinking that we can maybe discuss something about Krishna's pastimes, because many times, one of my friend, he told me that many times we hear that we should speak about Krishna, but we hear only that we should speak about Krishna, we don't hear so much about Krishna. He told me that. Maybe we have different experience, all of us, but this was his experience. So, we know that when Krishna was present here on this planet, there was so many demons, Srila Prabhupada is mentioning here in this purport, they were killed by Krishna and then they achieved the Sarupya Mukti. And when he was taken from Vrindavan to Mathura, and he arrived to Mathura, he had to kill the Kamsa. Although Kamsa was his relative, but there was nobody else who could kill the Kamsa. So when Krishna was entering the arena, there was this elephant, Kuvalayapida, who blocked the entrance for Krishna. And I always liked this, before I joined, I always liked this martial arts movies, these fighting movies. So when I started to read about pastimes of Krishna killing, I really liked this part of the pastimes, and how to say, the taste is still there. So I was thinking I will speak about some of this Krishna's giving this benediction to the demons. So, but before he entered the arena, he met with Kuvalayapida. And if you observe how Krishna is acting, Krishna is amazing. He always does everything in very attractive way. He does sometimes when we do something, it's maybe not so attractively done. But when Krishna does something, it's very attractive. Even when he killed Kuvalayapida, it's quite a show. I wrote down a few points with what happened during that fight with Kuvalayapida. In the beginning, Krishna, he tied his dress and he prepared for the fight because he understood that this elephant is blocking purposely the entrance to the arena. And he also chastised this caretaker. He told him, "You miscreant, you rascal. You remove yourself from this entrance, otherwise I will send you to the abode of the dead." But this didn't happen. So then this elephant, he wanted to attack Krishna. He wanted to catch him with the trunk. So Krishna, he ran behind him and he hid behind his legs. And then he took the elephant for the tail. And I was yesterday speaking with the kids in the international school how much elephant can have the weight. It's maybe, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 tons or something like that. So Krishna just pulled the elephant for the tail and he dragged him. Srila Prabhupada mentions around 25 yards. So it's around 22 meters. And it is mentioned that he dragged him from left to right. And same like when he was dragging cows when he was small. Then he ran in front of the elephant and he gave him a strong slap. So you can imagine. And then what he did, he immediately lied down in front of the elephant. And then when the elephant wanted to walk, he tripped and he fell down. And then he was still thinking that the Krishna is lying down, so he tried to pierce the Krishna. So he started to with his task. He was piercing the earth, but Krishna was already not there. So this elephant was intoxicated and he was very angry. And it is mentioned that this caretaker, he was even poking him, was pushing him to get more angry and more agitated. So then the elephant wanted to again capture Krishna with his trunk. So what Krishna did, Krishna caught hold of the trunk and he pulled down the elephant to the floor. And then he jumped on him and he broke one of his tusks and he started to hit both elephant and caretaker and he killed both of them with his tusk. And it's mentioned that he was looking very beautiful with the drops of perspiration and the drops of blood from the elephant. So when Krishna does even killing, it's quite entertaining. When you see maybe some fighting movies, they are only copying what was originally done by the Supreme Lord. And then Balaram, he broke another tusk and they put this tusk on their shoulder and they entered the arena where they were challenged by two wrestlers, by Chanura and Mushtika. But what was interesting, when the Krishna and Balaram entered the arena, different people, they perceived them in different way. Even in material realm, we can perceive different persons in different way. Some, like yesterday when I was in school, I mentioned that one boy, I mentioned that when I see him, I see him as a naughty boy because he was always making some disturbance during the class. But another boy who was making disturbance with him, he saw him as his friend. And then when he comes home, the mother and father, they see him as a son. So even in material realm, we can perceive the Lord we can perceive the persons in different way. So you can imagine that Krishna, because he is unlimited and he is the source of all rasas, of all relationships, he is perceived in different way by different people. So yesterday actually with the children in the school, we were making some exercise, how different people, how they saw the Lord. So maybe to make some of you a little more alert why the class maybe is not so entertaining. So there is actually 10 different categories mentioned in Krishna book, how they saw Krishna. So I was thinking maybe if some of you remember how these different categories, how they saw Krishna. There were wrestlers. What do you think how they saw the Krishna? Yes, it is close. There is one specific how they saw the Krishna, the wrestlers. Yes, they saw him as a thunderbolt. Very Srila Prabhupada is explaining that sometimes when there is a storm and there is a thunder, it's causing a fear. So they saw him as a thunderbolt. And people in general, how they saw Krishna. I believe it's a long time you have read Krishna book. It's some time ago. People in general, they saw Krishna as the most beautiful person. And then how the females saw the Krishna. They saw him as the most attractive person, as the most attractive male, as the Cupid personified. And the cowherd men, they saw Krishna as their own kinsman, as their friend. And the impious Kshatriyas, they saw Krishna as their chastiser, as the strongest ruler. And Nanda and Yashoda, they saw him as their child, of course. And how Kamsa saw him? Yes, that personified. And then, what do you think how an intelligent person saw the Krishna? That we can face this many times in India when we are preaching and we can meet so-called pandits, let's say unintelligent persons, how they see Krishna as an incapable personality. And then Vrishnis, they saw Krishna as the most celebrated descendant. So everybody saw Krishna in their own way when he entered the arena. I mentioned, did I forget maybe yogis? Oh yeah, yogis. They saw him as a Paramatma, as a super soul. So you can see how Krishna can be perceived in so many different ways according to the perception of the person. So Chanura and Mushtika, they saw him as a thunderbolt. And they challenged Krishna to fight with the reference that they should fight because they should please the king, they should please the Kamsa. So Krishna and Balaram, they mentioned that they spoke, they said that this fight is not appropriate because you are grown up strong men and we are just tender boys. Because Chanura and Mushtika, they mentioned that you are also fighting sometimes in Vrindavan, we know that. But Krishna and Balaram, they responded that yeah, we fight, but we fight with the equal, not like that. But still, to fulfill the task they had ahead, they started to fight with Chanura and Mushtika. And it's mentioned that there was all different martial arts were performed during that fight. And they were throwing each other on the ground and pushing each other and kicking and hitting. And it was going for quite some time. At one point, the Chanura, with both of his hands, he hit Krishna into his chest. And it mentioned that Krishna was not, it was like when you hit the elephant with a flower. So you can try with our elephant, you can throw the flower on them. So I think they will be happy, they will eat something. So when this happened, Krishna just grabbed him for both his hands and he gave him a centrifuga entertainment. When we go sometimes to this entertainment park, Luna Park, so there is a centrifuga, see people are going for this entertainment. So you can imagine, Chanura, he got nice, and just by this, he left his body. And Balaram was fighting with Mushtika, and mentioned that Mushtika, during the fight, he hit 3 times the Balaram with his fist. And then he got one back from Balaram. And that was enough. He started to vomit and the blood was coming from his mouth also. and he left his body. And then there were a few other wrestlers. What was their names? Oh yeah. Then Balaram fight with Kuta and Krishna with Shala and Toshala. It was not mentioned much in detail. It was pretty quick action. They got just one kick or something like that and they were done. Then others, they ran away. All other wrestlers. And then everybody started to glorify Balaram and Krishna. And they started to beat the drums. And Kamsa, he didn't really like the idea. He said, stop with this glorifying. He stopped playing the drums. And he said that take this Krishna and Balaram and drag them away, long distance from Mathura, and capture Nanda Maharaj and Vasudev and other cowherd men and plunder their riches and kill them. So when Krishna heard this, he became very angry and he jumped over the guards of Kamsa. Kamsa was ready, he knew it about that. So he had prepared his sword and a shield. So when Krishna jumped there, he very quickly took out his sword and he started to. Sometimes I saw it in these Chinese kung fu movies. They're moving very fast. So it's mentioned that Kamsa was moving hither and thither, very fast with his sword. So he was also expert in the fight with the sword. But Krishna, there was not much obstacle for him. And he grabbed Kamsa for his long hair and he dragged him to the arena. And then he kneeled on him, on his chest, and he started to just hit him with the fists. And just by that, the Kamsa left his body. He killed him just by hitting him with the fists. And then to prove it, that the Kamsa is dead, Krishna was dragging Kamsa in the arena to prove that, like Srila Prabhupada is mentioning, like a lion is dragging the elephant after the fight. So he was showing that the Kamsa is dead. And then the brothers, there were 8 brothers of Kamsa, headed by Kanka. They attacked Krishna and Balaram took charge of that and he killed all of them. Because Krishna already killed one of his uncle. So not to kill all other relatives, Balaram took care for that because Balaram's mother is Rohini, so she was not family related to these brothers. So after that, the wives of the brothers, they were lamenting for their lives. And it is mentioned by the Acharyas that actually, as Srila Prabhupada is mentioning here, that Kamsa, he attained Sarupya Mukti. That's what also Srila Prabhupada mentioned here, is that the demons and the enemies of Krishna, when they were killed by Krishna, they attained Sarupya Mukti. Because when we, for example, got angry with somebody, usually, that depends on our advancement, of course. If we are more advanced spiritually, that means we are wishing them their good. Like we have example like Narada Muni when he cursed Manigriva and what is his name? Nalakuvara and Manigriva. So that was actually included blessing for them. But sometimes when we get angry with somebody, at least I'm speaking for myself, I stand in front of Mahaprasadam and then just everybody is just going in front of you. And they are pushing their hands, And then maybe 1 or 2 person when they do, you think, oh, okay, I have to tolerate. And when this is already like 5th or 6th one, then the tolerance is gone, So I'm cursing already. So, but not with the blessing that they will meet Krishna later on. So, advanced souls, when they curse, because they are inheriting the same qualities of the Lord. When we become more Krishna conscious, we inherit the same qualities of the Lord. We are wishing good to all other living entities. Srila Prabhupada is mentioning actually that's one of the quality is that you wish others to do, or living entities, is that you preach Krishna consciousness. That's the meaning how you wish to other living entities. Because wishing is nice thing. I remember one, it is mentioned that even if you perform devotional service in the mind or in a dream, there is a benefit from that. We know the story from the Brahmana from South India who touched the rice in his meditation in the mind and then he got burned. So once we had seminar, I think it was with Vijay Prabhu, the book distribution minister, and one Mataji, she asked him if in the dream, in the night, we are dreaming that we are distributing books. If we are also getting benefit from performing the Sankirtan. And Vijay Prabhu, he gave quite a good answer. He said, yeah, you are getting benefit by performing Sankirtan. But what about these people? They are not getting the books. So wishing is one thing, it's nice, but this wishing should move to the farther stage that actually we do practical something for the blessing of these conditioned jivas. And of course, when we give the blessing in the form of the holy name or the books about Krishna, then naturally we become dear to Krishna. Srila Prabhupada is explaining this shloka apichet suduracharo bhajante mam ananyabhak sadur eva mantavyak sadur eva samyak eva how is it? So Krishna explains that devotee sometimes he can have some mistakes. And maybe because of this previous... So, and Srila Prabhupada is explaining in relation with this shloka that actually as you devote yourself to Krishna, what happens that Krishna, this Baladev Vidyabhushan is explaining, that Krishna is devoting himself to you. That the love has always both sides. It's never only one side reciprocation. That you are doing Sankirtan, you are spreading the holy name, or you are distributing books, you are trying to preach to people, you are trying to bring other people to Krishna consciousness, you are making some arrangements for that, you are supporting Sankirtan devotees, and then Krishna will not reciprocate. Krishna will definitely reciprocate the same way what you are doing. Even more actually, it's mentioned that if you do one step towards Krishna, Krishna do 100 steps towards you. So, of course, sometimes Krishna's reciprocation maybe we feel different way. But Krishna has definitely his means how to bring us closer to him. Like a child sometimes is chastised by the parents, but it is for his good sake. In 10 canto, 10:48, Tatenu kapam susamikshmano bunjatma evatma kritam vipakam kritvak vapurvir vidadam namaste jivetayam mukti pare sadaya bhag. It's mentioned that even while you're getting the reactions for your previous misdeeds, if you worship the Lord with your hit, vak and vapu, that means with the body, with your heart and with your words, then actually the liberation becomes your rightful claim. So what was my point? Krishna, in this purport of this verse, Srila Sridhar Swami explains that Krishna sometimes he chastises devotee, or it appears as a chastisement. It appears that he is getting some reactions, but this is actually Krishna's mercy, that he is giving a treatment to the devotee that he will give up his enjoying spirit. So we have to know, when we understand that Madhyama Adhikari means that he understands that Krishna is all pervading. Kanishta Adhikari, he will be disturbed. When something happens to him, he will be blaming. He will be blaming the person, he will be blaming the situation, he will be blaming Krishna, consequently, directly or indirectly. But Madhyama Adhikari, he understands that Krishna is all-pervading and He's behind everything. So if something is happening to my life, so Prabhupada is explaining, maybe inauspicious it looks, but actually everything is auspicious in the life of a devotee, because Krishna is arranging directly, He is removing the enjoying spirit. So if something is happening we don't like, it's a little unpleasant situation, we have to understand that Krishna is removing our enjoying spirit. Because your desire to enjoy, it's a little removed. When you suffer, you don't really feel like, you actually, if you are sincere, you will feel like you would like to surrender more to Krishna. That's the proof. That's the sign of the sincerity. That if something difficult is happening, your attention is going towards Krishna. If your desires or attention is going towards sense gratification, you think you will replace that suffering if you improve your sense gratification. That means you maybe can work a little bit more on your understanding and on your sincerity. But if your sincerity goes towards Krishna and you are looking for shelter, how Krishna can maybe give you understand what's happening, or to accept the strength, to accept the situation as a mercy of the Lord, as His mercy, that means that actually you are going in the proper direction. So that's the meaning of what Sridhar Swami is explaining, that Krishna sometimes maybe it appears that we are chastised, or He is giving some punishment, but actually it's from the Lord's side is never punishment. Because as a parent sometimes they chastise their child, but it's always for their good. It's chastisement from a love. So when this is happening, you have to understand that. And at the same time, wishing and willing good for the people. What does it mean? It's not that we are trying to do materially good for them. It's also can be one of the confusing thing, that we have to help people also materially. When Srila Prabhupada was addressed with this, he mentioned that actually there is already so many organizations who are helping materially to the people. But we are meant for different purpose. We are meant to help them spiritually, because if you help them materially, anyway, at one point they will be kicked like a football from one body to another. But if you help them spiritually, maybe this neha vikrama nasha asti pratavana vidyate swalpam vyasa dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. There may be no need anymore to be kicked from one body to another. So by preaching Krishna consciousness, and everybody can do that, that's also what Gauranga Mahaprabhu wants from us. Yaradeka tarikaha Krishna upadesh. That means you speak about Krishna, whoever you meet, you mention something about Krishna. Not only wishing, but we do something practical for the people outside. Then actually we will be very much appreciated by the Supreme Lord. And it's quite possible that at the end of the life, Janma karma chame divyam yomam vyati tyaktva adeham punar janma naitimam etis Arjuna. We will be aware that Krishna's birth and Krishna activities are transcendental, and then we will be leaving this body, we will not come anymore to this world, but we will enter the spiritual realm. Hare Krishna. I'll finish here. Srila Prabhupada ki, Srimad Bhagavatam ki. If there is maybe some question or comment. Hare Krishna. Gitanagari Prabhu, have something?
There was one devotee who made it his service. He went around and he talked to so many devotees who had left the Krishna conscious movement, and he was trying to find out why they left and how they would be happy. Why would they be happy, and could they come back and stuff like that. But anyway, after he did this for a while, he came to a conclusion, and that conclusion is that that many devotees, they leave when some great tragedy happens to them. You know, in other words, they're serving in the Krishna conscious movement. They're trying so hard to be good devotees, and then something really bad happens to them, some tragedy, and then they leave. So it's a common thread that when tragedy happens, devotees, devotees decide, oh, why am I worshiping God? Why am I wasting my time? He doesn't care about me. Stuff like this. All kinds of stuff starts happening. So I just wanted to say that this verse, to be able to continue to worship the Lord, even when tragedy happens to you, is a great test in spiritual life. Is a great test in spiritual life. A lot of people fold when that happens in their life.
Yeah, that's unfortunately their position was like that. That's what I was explaining, that Kanishta Adhikari, he will get confused sometimes by the situations, what's happening to him. And maybe till we progress on a higher level, some difficulties happens, and because maybe we are also not sincere enough at the moment, we consider this as a disturbance or distraction for devotional service and we leave. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada actually he mentions, I think in Nectar of Instructions, that we should not remain on the level of Kanishta, and we should progress as fast as possible to the Madhyama level. At least in some aspects. Of course, it's not that you are one day Kanishta and tomorrow you wake up and you are Madhyama, but in maybe determination and understanding, we should head towards the Madhyama platform when we are convinced about the goal of life, when our determination is not disturbed by these external circumstances. And if we are maybe not on that level, we should associate with those who are. That's very helpful always. They can give us some advice. So therefore the friendship in Krishna consciousness actually is crucial. The association of devotees is crucial. But association means that we really take association of devotees deeply. Not that we only Hari Bol, Hare Krishna, we take prasadam together, slap each other on the back and make some jokes. But we actually inquire, when we meet, we inquire about Krishna, and we inquire how to overcome maybe certain difficulties, how to see certain situations that is happening to us in our life. And then you have also many examples of devotees who went through similar situations, or maybe on same, and they were maybe on similar platform. They joined maybe similar time and they understand, but because of association, they were able to actually overcome. So I heard on one class that it was from Radhanath Maharaj, that from 100% of our spiritual life, 90% is association of devotees, and 10% is the chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Because without this association of devotees, our chanting will not be as successful as if we have association of devotees. So, therefore, real sadhu sangha is essential for devotee life. Yes, Prabhu.
Thank you very much for the nice class, Prabhu. The point, again, I was thinking is, like we say, Nashta Prayesha Bhadreshu. I mean, when any calamity comes, we feel insecure, and this is another Abhadra. So, Prabhupada explains that, if we regularly hear Bhagavatam and also serve the pure devotee, both together, then automatically all these things will go. So, just as you said.
Yeah, another aspect. Yeah. I was thinking that when I have some difficulty, I usually take books and I go distribute books. It's interesting. Within few minutes, all mental bubbles which are there just disappear. It's gone, because you face the real reality, which is not just on mental platform, but is in front of you. But sometimes I realize that not everybody can do, like for example, you mentioned, you just listen Bhagavatam, that actually should solve all problems. Whatever happens, you just read Bhagavatam, listen Bhagavad Katha, it should solve. But some devotees, they are so disturbed, they cannot, at the moment, focus. So therefore, but if they have friendship, if they have association of devotees, it can help them to go maybe over the biggest disturbance, then again get absorbed in the chanting and hearing. Of course, we know chanting and hearing is the essence, and if you can just focus on that, perfect. But sometimes I saw some devotees, they were so disturbed they could not focus on that. But because they had some friends in Krishna consciousness, they stick to somehow to association of devotees, and after sometimes, of course, time always dissolve everything. So this biggest disturbance little dissolved, and then again they pick up nicely the process. Shall we finish here? Srimad Bhagavatam ki? Jai. Hare Krishna.